Hey, everybody. Welcome to Game Mess Mornings with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from giantbomb.com. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Sony's plans for the rest of the year and plenty of Nintendo news. It's going to be a good one because we have Jon Martin on the show. Jon, how are you doing?
Jeff, there is rhythm heaven in the air, so I'm doing pretty
Yes.
well. How about you?
Oh, I love it. Yes, I'm happy it's coming soon. We'll talk about that for sure. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. I was telling you, kids are on spring break, so it's been fun hanging out with them this week. Like I started getting the office set up for Mike's going to come over. We're going to record the endurance run. So
Yeah.
I moved some stuff around so the couch is over here, and immediately, like a cat, Addie was just like, "I'm gonna lay down on this couch." Hi, Addie. Oh yeah, there she's making herself comfy. So yeah, it's nice over here. And then I've been doing housework. Did the wallpapering. We got a new bed, so I pieced that together last night. Feeling good, being productive. It's nice, although it doesn't leave a ton of time for games. But Jon, I'm waiting for Pragmata. I'm waiting for
Yeah.
Tomodachi Life. So I'm like in this nice middle ground
Yeah.
where I could pick up something for 5 minutes, but I'm not going to be getting in deep into any games right in this moment. How about you?
Yeah, I am kind of in the middle of games right now, kind of been playing a lot of different retro games. Been on a big Star Fox kick, so
Of course.
I've gotten through Star Fox Super Nintendo, which I beat for the first time, and then my like 90th run of Star Fox 64. So that's
Right.
good. Played a lot of Pokemon Fire Red last week for a friendly tournament at my friend's Easter party, and that was a lot of fun. I won the champagne, so that was very cool. But yeah, besides that, just like kind of messing around with the AY and Thor and still trying to get Pocopia to the finish line. There's a lot of like little things I still need to collect to actually get
Same.
to those credits. So been chipping away at that. But yeah, man, just kind of hanging out, playing games, and weathering the storms that be. There's a lot in the air, but always a good time to play video games either by yourself or with friends and get some much needed R and R.
Yes, exactly. And games could be a little bit of like a respite, but it's also like, oh man, these games are very expensive, and everything over
Yeah.
there is kind of still a headache. But I don't know, find a game you like and stick to it, or like you play old games. There's tons of old games you could play for through very inexpensive means. I highly recommend it. All right, let's get into it, everybody. We're Giant Bomb. Go to giantbomb.com/join, become a premium member. We really appreciate everyone who has done so. It gets you ad-free versions of our shows. It also gets you access to our premium shows. Marry Me Tomodachi. It's going to get you Portal Pals. It's going to get you 9 lives of Mr. Mistopheles. It's going to get you Grub Snacks Premium. It's also going to get you the satisfaction of knowing you support independent games media in a world that doesn't really seem to want games media otherwise. We could do it ourselves, everybody. Thank you to everybody who does support us. We really appreciate it. If you can't, tell a friend about the site. Come hang out in the community. You make it what it is. As far as this show goes, most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS feed on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with next Sony State of Play coming April 16th, according to a report. This is from Eddie McHugh at GameSpot, who says, Sony's next State of Play broadcast will take place very soon, according to a new report. Prominent leaker Nate the Hate reported that the next State of Play event may take place on Thursday, April 16th. However, he said this is an unconfirmed date for now. He added that it appears to be a State of Play that is focused more on third-party games, but he isn't 100% certain on that. April 16th is also the day that Ubisoft will reportedly finally officially announce the recently confirmed Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag remake. But Nate the Hate said he doesn't know if this is connected to the rumored State of Play. I have not heard anything, but I also haven't been asking around. It's been a minute since I kind of touch base with some of the folks over there that might know what they're talking about. It sounds completely reasonable to me that that Sony would have another one, especially lined up for this Assassin's Creed announcement. their last state of play was the one that everyone liked, right? Everyone was pretty happy with it. I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember exactly what was in there. They've kind of set up their future pretty well. But do they need to start talking more about what's coming for the rest of the year, and then obviously maybe through their third-party partners?
That's kind of the weird thing for me is that I feel like it is still so fresh of how that last state of play happened. I mean,
Right.
the big one for me coming out of there is the new Castlevania game, and we're seeing that like in an hour. I completely forgot about that till this morning, but there's a showcase showing that there. So yeah, like I don't know if they necessarily need it in the sense that they need to remind people, hey, this is why you should buy a PlayStation 5, but in terms of like keeping those third parties happy, keeping them still investing in the platform heavy, like keep up the PlayStation 5 Pro support.
Right.
It's all about like, kind of making the ecosystem a lot more populated with bigger games or games that should be positioned as big, rather than things that are like, we definitely needed an update. We have no idea what's coming out on this thing, but we got Saros, we got so many other things coming up. So, yeah, I mean, I'm always down for another gaming showcase, but yeah, it does feel a little rushed, I guess. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, I guess it's going to depend on the focus. They're probably going to come in here. It'll feel very different because the last one did have quite a few things in there that were first party, and this is partner stuff. It could be just something that they planned on the schedule a long time ago, and then they wanted to announce their stuff before that. So it's like this was always going to feel obligatory. There's a strong chance this just feels like, oh, another one of those state of plays, a very forgettable one, and that'll be fine because they've been delivering pretty strongly on those recently. And we're getting Wolverine this year, Saros. What else are we getting from PlayStation? Can you remember off the top of your head? I was going to look it up.
Uh,
Yeah.
we just had that God of War game. I really can't think about much that's coming out. I don't think
Yeah.
they have a lot. Is Ghost
No,
of
I think that's
is
kind of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
Yote Legends. Yes,
yeah,
that's out very
that
soon,
actually
right?
might be out. I
It might
just
have
like
already
have
came
not.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So, I mean, maybe this is a time to show like some of your big partner projects that will be kind of padding out the year until we get to a Wolverine. But yeah, April's always that time where it really does feel like, hey, we're just like, these release dates for the first half of the year, maybe early summer are kind of locked down. So let's just show those.
Right. And then if it is a third party focused thing, I mean that is where a lot of the bread is being buttered for Sony. I mean, Pragmata is coming out very soon. If this happens in the next week, they could still talk about that and kind of really hype that up because every time someone plays that demo, they come away being like, this game could be really good. Maybe want to hype that up. 007 First Light's not coming out long after that. Let's see. Oh, yeah, like Halo Campaign Evolved could show up at this thing, right? Because that's coming to
True.
PlayStation. So
Yeah.
there's things they can do to set a certain level of excitement, and then of course, like the next thing on top of that is, they will have plenty of opportunities for the smaller games that would fall through the cracks to have an opportunity to stand next to some of these other ones and have a chance of getting some like shine to them based on that, which is often what state of plays are. It's like, let's boost up some of these other games through the power of the bigger games, although they've often failed to deliver on some of the bigger games in state of plays in the past. We'll see. I might ask around, but at this point, it's like, it'll happen if it happens, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. No big deal. But if it does, we'll talk over it. I'm looking forward to seeing it myself, even if it's like one of those standard state of plays that is just kind of like, oh, there was no Wolverine here or Wolverine equivalent. I've made my peace with that. That's what these shows can often be. That's just fine. All right, let's keep going here. Samson's launch woes deemed unacceptable. Incoming patch. But first, I'm going to say, John, are you familiar with Samson, this new game that came out?
No, if you saw in the doc right now, me copying, pasting it into a browser, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yes,
So.
it is Samson, a Tindleston story, which is the debut title from Just Cause developer Christopher Sundberg's new studio, Liquid Swords. It is an open world action adventure kind of crime game. It looks like GTA. It's like trying to be a GTA, and it's from someone who has Just Cause lineage. And there was some excitement about it, not a ton, but it's out now, and it's kind of got a lot of mixed reviews. Let's say a lot of negative reviews for sure. I think it's somewhere in the 50s on OpenCritic or something like that. It's kind of missed pretty hard. But I'm surprised that someone even tried a game like this in 2026 from like a small new studio. Like, hey, can we make something that can stand alongside maybe even the previous Grand Theft Autos? And it sounds like this one has mostly missed it. But yeah, the story here is that they're going to continue to try to update it. The gritty Crime Adventures launch has been a bit rocky, mainly due to bugs, and Liquid Swords is already working to address via a patch those bugs, and that's set to release on Friday. Early impressions of Samson, this is a quote now, are mixed, and many of you are experiencing game-breaking bugs and performance issues, Sundberg himself shared in a post announcing the upcoming update. That's unacceptable, and we are listening to everyone's feedback and are hard at work to deliver the game we spent years of our lives developing. Launching a game is a ton of work, and I'm proud of the effort our team has put into seeing Samson's from its initial concept through to release. The update, which is set to go live on Friday, April 10th, is mainly focused on fixing performance issues, game crashes, and bugs that prevent progression. The patch, will also add the ability for players to utilize up to 8 save files. Okay. I just this is a curiosity to me, John, where it's like, man, I can't believe this game exists. I'm kind of glad that people are trying things like this. I thought we were past that era. I'm not surprised it hasn't worked. Do you think that this is something that through like ongoing support and giving it love and care that they can make it into something that people consider maybe a sleeper hit or something? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I definitely think there is an opportunity to turn it around if they have like the means to do so. I saw one of the big things that needs working out is like the action and car controls.
Yeah.
Also saw that this is some of the people involved are also behind the Mad Max game that released like 2015 or so, and that game rocks. Like that game
Yeah.
is so
It's Avalanche.
much
Yeah,
of a
former Avalanche
like a
people.
hidden. Yeah, so that's a hidden gem. Like I feel like more people should check that out. But yeah, I mean, it's all about like where are the lacking points? Is it something like you can just update the performance and it'll run better? Is there something bugged about the way that game controls? I think there's an opportunity to do so. I think underdog stories are kind of rare in video games, so when they happen and they're done well, I think it could set a game up for success. But yeah, it's not going to be the next AAA game, and I think some people are okay with that. So there is an audience for a Grand Theft Auto style game. We certainly didn't have it with Mind's Eye, but there's always room to fit there, especially in the lead up to a game like that. If you do want something that'll, like, just make the time waiting for GTA 6 a little bit easier.
Yeah, I I think we are coming out of a world where it's like it was possible to do these things, and then there was always the opportunity for developers to be like, "Hey, a Grand Theft Auto's coming. We can do our own in the lead up to that, like you're saying, or just like offer something slightly different." And that got us Saints Rows and a handful of other things. And that last Saints Row game just was completely lost in the woods. And I think after that, everyone's like, well, if they can't figure it out, and they were sort of up there as like one of the accepted alternatives, who really stands a chance to make this work. And yeah, I mean, so I look at Samson, it looks very generic. It looks very bland, and I think that might be some of the heart of its problem. But I also that's kind of what people want from that genre. They want regular people doing weird things, and it just sounds like it doesn't really offer up the fun that people are looking for. Let's hit this one really quick. I meant to add it to the rundown. We talked about it beforehand, John. Take-Two unexpectedly releases free Borderlands mobile in quote soft launch format. This is from ixbt.games. Take-Two Interactive has released Borderlands Mobile on iOS without prior announcements, advertising campaigns, or trailers. This is not a port of an existing installment, but a separate game originally developed for smartphones by Zynga. This aligns with previous statements by Strauss Zelnick, who spoke about transferring key Take-Two franchises to mobile platforms, and emphasized that such projects should be created from scratch, taking into account the specifics of the device. Borderlands Mobile retains the visual style and basic gameplay formula of the series. Players are offered a story campaign with main and side missions, loot collection, character progression, and boss battles. All this is adapted for short sessions and the mobile format. The meta progression involves developing a hub ship, which unlocks new opportunities and rewards. According to information from Zynga's support pages, only one class is available at the start, the Summoner, while the remaining classes and customization elements are promised to be added later. And also, the game is currently completely free, as there is no monetization in the current version. There's formerly a battle pass, but it's only available in a free version right now. The premium version, according to Zynga, will appear in future updates. So yeah, it's in soft launch. By that they mean, yeah, they're not doing stuff like monetization yet. It's probably not available in full every territory. So yeah, this came out of nowhere. People seem to think it looks pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity to kind of approach more people. Like Borderlands is definitely one of those big name franchises that has tried numerous times to kind of get its name out there to people who wouldn't normally play a Borderlands, be it a Tales of the Borderlands, be it a movie, or even just like a free to play game like this. I think that makes a whole lot of sense. It's a franchise that Take-Two always talks about as being one of their bigger games, and even if 4 didn't hit as well as I think they wanted it to, I mean, it's still not even out on Switch 2, and we don't even know the status on that. But yeah, I think this is good because it is using parts of existing games to, make an experience for people where maybe Borderlands wouldn't be something in their wheelhouse. Making it free to play is interesting, but yeah, I don't know. I don't 100% know if this is for most Borderlands fans. I think it's kind of for a lot of other people to
Yeah,
find Borderlands for the first time.
yeah, I'm sure that's a huge part of it. Like, I always think the Borderlands like player base is this massive thing that is like doesn't necessarily fully overlap with the circles I run in. It's like, no, that's a lot of normies are into that. A lot of people who are just like they'll get a couple of games a year. They're going to get Call of Duty. They're going to get a basketball game or a football game or a soccer game, and then they're going to get Borderlands. Like that's one of those games that everyone just gets. And I wonder if like the thinking here is, hey, for that last Borderlands game, what we saw is there's a lot of people who want to come back to Borderlands, but they're just too busy. Their lives are taking them away from places where they can play that game. Can we just bring the game to them on their phone? So I think they're hoping to recapture some people who feel like they might have like busied out. They've aged out in terms of just being too busy to play some of these games, and they could still get them on their phone. I bet that's a big part of it. I mean, this is a Take-Two strategy. I mean, the story here talks about Strauss Zelnick saying that this is something they want to do more of. Does that mean they get around to doing this with, I guess, what next? Grand Theft Auto? What else could they do this with?
Yeah, Take-Two, right?
Right.
So,
I mean,
yeah,
there's Firaxis games, but I mean, Civilization is already on mobile as like its full-fledged version. So people just play that. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not even like 100% sure because when I think of them, I'm like, could you make a Mafia game like work there? That's the
Yeah.
that's the biggest game to me besides like obviously like a Rockstar game that would like kind of it could work in a sense of like bringing people in, but I'm not 100% sure. Like I think Borderlands has definitely an easier gameplay loop to gamify for a mobile audience than like a Mafia, which is more story driven and
I mean, the Mafia
um,
would just be an adaptation of those existing mobile games where you play as a mobster, right? And it's like, I'm a level
right.
99 criminal and I'm the boss. Like those ads you see. I could see them doing something like that, but that would be far less exciting than this seems to be, which is trying to fully adapt the Borderlands experience. That's pretty wild.
Maybe a Mafia like business management sim and like
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to avoid the cops like catching on to money laundering or something. I think that could be kind of fun, but again, that's not like we have assets. Let's put it into a new package and release it on the App Store for free. So yeah, it's going to be curious to see how that goes.
All right, let's see here. Let's hit this next one. Halo campaign evolved release date seemingly leaked by Dataminer in cryptic math problem. This is from Chris Compendio at GameSpot. A noted Halo data miner appears to have hinted at when Halo Campaign Evolved will release. You just have to do some math to figure out what this leaker is claiming. Halo fan account grunt.api shared a couple of math equations spotted by Insider Gaming that people seem to believe contain the launch dates of the upcoming Halo Combat Evolved remake. Um, I'm not going to read these equations. You can go find them for yourselves if you want. But so I'm going to jump to the if you, in case you're unwilling to do the arithmetic yourself, these equations suggest that Campaign Evolved will release in an early access stage, or the EA in the equation, on July 23rd before an official release on July 28th. So it's going to have that early access period where you pay a little bit extra, you get it for 5 extra days. The game is coming in July. Presumably, the early access period would be for those who purchase the special edition, as it writes, as they say here. Yeah, that sounds right. It's a leak from a data miner, but I tend to believe it because this lines up with what we've heard. I think right, this game is going to come in the summer, and Grand Theft Auto 6 is still supposed to come out this fall. So yeah, while Microsoft has Forza Horizon 6, which we're saying is that out in May? Man, that's crazy. If that's
Very shortly. There was just
yeah,
like a big preview event like the other day, right?
right. Okay, so that's in May. This is in July. They have Fable. I mean, they'll have Call of Duty, obviously, but the Call of Duty will just come out when Call of Duty comes out. They'll just have to deal with Grand Theft Auto being there. I mean, it'll probably come out in October instead. But Fable, I've heard it was internally delayed, but I mean, it's still supposed to come out this year, but that probably means December. So if they have any other games, they're probably trying to stack them up as early as they can, so they have a plenty of window of opportunity to succeed before Grand Theft Auto comes out. Do you think that people are getting appropriately excited for Halo Campaign Evolved? How are you feeling about this rollout, the return, it going to PlayStation?
Yeah, I mean, like in terms of like the expectations of like another Halo 1 remake, doing numbers, I think it's hitting those numbers by that I mean like it is kind of a muted thing. It's there. I love the first Halo game specifically. Halo 1 and 2, just like big childhood multiplayer games for me, but it's interesting that it is hitting PlayStation. I like that it's multi-platform. It is just muted by the lack of multiplayer. Like I do consider like Halo a summer game. Like I remember going to all over the country, and just my friends were all playing Halo back then, and it was just a summer of road trips and meeting up with friends. So yeah, I think I am reasonably excited to get back into Halo to see what they do change about the campaign of the first one, see what's new there. And I do think it'll probably do pretty well on a PlayStation console just for the novelty of having a Microsoft logo on a PlayStation 5 box or what have you. I don't know. I don't really know what my expectations for this performing are because, I don't think it's the make or break game for Halo Studios. I think it's great that they are using it as a test bed for Unreal Engine 5, but yeah, I can't say I would see this doing the numbers of whatever the next big Halo game or even standalone multiplayer game would be. I think it's going to hit for the people who haven't played this game before, or the people who have played it 100 times, like a Snowbike Mike or whatever. And then yeah, it'll just kind of have been out for a couple months, and you realize that.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right. I'm like definitely curious just to see what they're doing to make this thing feel improved. They've remastered it before. What does this look like? The fact that it is single player only obviously is going to limit its appeal to a lot of people. But yeah, it's Halo on PlayStation. That alone is very interesting and curious. And I think you're right that a lot of people on PlayStation are just going to show up for this first one at least, just to be like, yeah, I've always heard about Halo, or it's just weird to play this on here, so I want to be a part of that. I think it'll do just fine.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
bought Lego Horizon on Switch just because it's funny to have a PlayStation
Right.
Studios logo on a Switch box. Like that's silly. That's funny.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you think Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to come out when in November on that date when it's supposed to come out now? Like all these companies are obviously continuing to make their releasing timing decisions based on that expectation. And it does feel to me now like enough of these bigger companies are solidifying their dates to the point where they must think it's really coming out.
Yeah, like in my mind, I feel like it still probably will get delayed at the last minute, but
Sure.
with kind of like the shockwave of when the Take-Two president or CEO was talking about the AI not being able to replace that stuff, I think they do are a little bit scared of what happens if they do not release that game, because there'll be kind of like broader questions and topics from shareholders they'll need to address. So I'm hoping it doesn't release in a rush state. But like if I was putting money on it, I still would be a little hesitant to be like, yeah, it's coming out this year. I don't know. It's a lot of people like you guys just talking about, yeah, I think it actually could land. That is making me double guess that, but I don't know. I still think there's a good chance it gets delayed. If by like a couple of weeks even.
Yeah, people in the chat are pointing out like the advertising campaign is apparently supposed to start in earnest in about 3 weeks. So it's like if they're going to make that decision, they might make it soon. Although, if they delay it like a month or something like that, maybe that wouldn't affect them all that much. I
Right.
tell you what, no matter what happens, this launch I think is going to be a mess for whatever the online side of things is. I think it's going to launch
100%.
in some sort of state, and it's going to be a state that people are like, yeah, either I'm mad about how it transfers my stuff from the first game, I'm mad that it doesn't transfer any of my stuff from the first online. I'm mad that it's just an updated version of the first online. We still don't really know. They have to
Is
start
it
talking about that stuff here pretty soon.
is it even launching with online? Is that
I
like
don't.
a
They haven't
hard
said
fact?
that. No, yeah, they haven't
Right.
said that. Yeah, exactly. Good point. And it's like there's every reason to just say right now maybe it doesn't do that because they haven't mentioned it once. Yeah, it's
Right.
just straight. Yeah, it took like what 6 months for GTA 5 online. Yeah, it'll probably be something like that. Okay, it's going to be interesting year and a half of GTA 6 launching over and over again as that
Yeah.
happens. GTA Online happens, and then it goes to PC, and then it goes on to the next gen consoles at that point. Yikes! It's gonna be weird. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, plenty of more headlines to get into. Actually, a ton of just Nintendo news. I actually left off some stories because there were so many things out of Nintendo. We'll get into all of that right after this. If you want to skip out on these, you could do so. giantbomb.com/join. Become a premium member. Ad-free versions of the audio, video show. We will be right back. We are back. It's Game Mess Mornings. That's Jon Martin. I'm Jeff Grubb. Let's get into this Nintendo block with Pokémon Champions launches to mixed reception as performance woes and competitive changes turn some away. This is from Connor McCarr at Eurogamer. Pokémon Champions has been released, a battling-focused competitive game hoping to capture the hearts of the series' dedicated players. However, some performance limitations and gameplay choices have a slice of the community feeling disappointed. Performance woes include being locked to 30 frames per second on the Nintendo Switch and Switch 2, plus some burdensome navigation across in-game menus. Pokemon leaker Centro Leaks complained about the game having slow, clunky menus, while Angelico on Twitter dubbed the game's performance as pathetic. Aside from the performance problems, the game forced some changes to the typical Pokemon game format, most notably a hard stance on the Pokemon Video Game Championship format, VGC, where teams of 6 Pokemon are taken into a doubles match and only 4 of them are actually used in battles. This, while the standard in official Pokemon events, is far from the full 6 Pokemon singles format many players prefer. Afro Sinju on Twitter summarized their feelings as such. I really liked Pokemon Champions until I found out you can't 6v6. This game honestly just feels like a fleshed out beta, and then these battle rules cannot be changed either, even in private matches against friends. Another sticking point for some fans. There's other things happening here. I think the
Yeah.
general consensus, John, that I've heard is this game feels like it came out really early and really rushed, and it needs a lot of work. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's a reason why it was a staggered release and it wasn't on mobile, where I think a lot of people are going to be trying this game without really
Yeah.
understanding what it's going to be. Yeah, there's a lot to dig in with this story, especially as someone who really likes playing competitive Pokemon. But yeah, I think just overall there is a lack of quality. I don't want to think that the Pokemon company was like, they played Scarlet and Violet at launch and they're used to just like buggy bad performance, but it's not showing a good light. Yeah, for me personally, I did try it out yesterday. I thought it was snappy in a sense that like Scarlet and Violet online, the competitive mode does have some performance issues. It can just hang for a little bit, like just rotating the camera on Pokemon. I thought things were pretty snappy, which is good for the competitive sense, but yet not for the casual sense. Like I said, I was literally doing a friendly Pokemon tournament this past weekend, and it was 6v6 because that's the format. You're hanging out with six of your best buds, making the best possible team to counter stuff. And I get a lot of the mind games come from the fact that you know what the options are, but the options are limited by your knowledge of what's going to happen. So if you know it's going to be a 6v6, you already kind of know what to expect. In a 4v4 or 3v3 situation, if it's singles, that doesn't fly as much. But yeah, and the lack of Pokemon there, I think it's like only like 180 something, as opposed to like, I don't know, like I don't even know how many final stage evolutions there are because there's so many freaking Pokemon now. And I think that's okay in a vacuum. Like in competitive, there rarely are like 50 or 60 different Pokemon that have like viable move sets and can work in some kind of team. But yeah, the lack of item, I think, is just rollout and not having a lot of different Pokemon available at launch, especially when you're touting Pokemon Home compatibility, is just kind of dumb. I think there's like a statement that they were trying to fix a lot of these things, not specifically about like 6v6 more casual modes, but yeah, it is. They were positioning it as the like competitive platform of the future, and yeah, it definitely feels like it is competitive first and not really thinking about on-rolling the average player, because those tutorials are kind of laughable. It doesn't really give you a whole lot to do at all. There's no like simulation circumstances to teach you about this stuff. It's kind of just like laying like information on you. But yeah.
For our stream yesterday, Jan and Sean seemed to come away pretty pleased. Jan, is that a case of you being able to just to see the potential and it's doing what you need out of the gate and you kind of understood what this thing was going to be, or what? Or did you have some problems with it?
There's some light problems. Like John mentioned, some Pokemon not being available. But overall, I'm having fun throwing people into the dumpster.
Okay, it's enabling Toxic Jan to run free, right? That's what's happening.
Yes, unfortunately, no one is safe.
All right, I love that. That's very important.
Get in where you fit in, everybody.
Okay, so do you guys think that they are going to be able to get this thing shaped up? Like it's not hopeless, right? We're not looking at it. Just is they rushed it out because they have that IRL competition happening in a few months, right? So they were trying to get this out there so people could practice.
Yeah, there's so much runway for this game to improve over the next couple weeks, months. It's not going to be. This isn't end all be all, gang.
Yeah, I hope they just update, like as the mobile version comes out. I hope at that moment they just have a Switch 2 specific version that runs great. And if the Switch 1 version continues to run like dog shit, that's a shame. But I mean, at this point, that system is very old. So yeah, I think a game like this probably should run fine on that, but it's Game Freak. So here we go. That's kind of what we should expect at this point. All right. So there is no chance that like this is going, I guess I shouldn't say there's no chance. It seems like this is not going to be a catastrophe for their VGC competition when that does happen, though, right? People are going to be able to get used to it, and it should mostly be fine.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I think it'll be fine by then. It's just kind of like, what do they want that metagame to look like? Like, are they going to add more options, or is it going to be just like these Pokemon for the next couple of months? And if so, we'll see if there's like some super toxic stuff, but we're kind of just seeing a lot of what has already been kind of established in like Scarlet and Violet's like metagame.
Okay. Very good. All right, let's stick with the Nintendo news here. Rhythm Heaven Groove out in early July. This is from Imran Khan over at restart.run. Shouts out to Imran. Wubba dubba dub, that true? The reports are accurate. Rhythm Heaven Groove is indeed launching on the Switch in just under 3 months on July 2nd, 2026. Man, now that's going to be stuck in my head.
I feel sorry for people who don't get that. Everyone needs to understand that. Please, dear God.
I mean, like, yeah. You know what? It drives me a little crazy right now, John, is there's this a thing on social where people will be like, all right, go ahead and like whip your hand at the screen or do a fist pump. And then it'll be like a bunch of like small vignettes of things that happen as you're like slamming your hand down, like chopping a fish or something like that. This is just rhythm heaven without the game. You people have been missing out. You could have been having this fun your entire lives. Anyway, the game's coming July 2nd, 2026. This is a Switch 1 game. It'll work on Switch 2. That's pretty soon. They got a trailer that went up on Nintendo Today as well as Twitter, the Nintendo Today app today. And then, yeah, it continues to look very good. I'm a huge Rhythm Heaven fan. Loved it since they first started bringing it here, which I think is with the DS version. And me and my wife played the hell out of it. She like basically 100%ed that game. And I'm ready to do the same on the Switch. I'm glad Rhythm Heaven is still happening, John.
Same here. It's one of those franchises that it like has taken a while to actually get a new entry and forever. That was always my hope with the WarioWare game still coming out, is that like, okay, so silly Nintendo is like still able to come, and then Tomodachi and this happening in the same year is kind of a dream come true for like 3DS fans, like myself. Yeah, this is great. Two important things. The Switch 1 it's Switch 1, no Switch 2 version, but it is coming out physically in America, which was a big question mark for me. Is it going to be a digital only thing like Megamix was on 3DS? And yeah, only $40 is the big thing. I think this is going to be, that's the best possible way for a game like this to succeed, because it's going to be like what, like 50, I think like 50 mini games is like kind of the standard for these games. But it's just some of the most charming, most pure fun you can kind of have with a video game. It's one of those things that like my grandparents, my cousins who have never played it were playing Rhythm Heaven Fever on the Wii, and it was just, I don't know, everything was good back then. So I'm glad we have some hope and things to look forward to for us Rhythm Heaven fans.
Do you get the sense that this is going to be a lot of new mini games, or do you feel like it could be more of a collection? I mean, because the last one they did was a collection, right? So yeah, this is probably going to be a lot of new stuff.
It looks like a lot of new stuff. I've personally trying to like stay away to like, I think I watched that initial trailer like 30 times, but I think most of those are at most reusing characters rather than they are bringing back mini games. So has me hopeful there's going to be a lot of that, but I also think we've been so far removed. I wouldn't be mad if they just put 20 of the old games in there, just kind of as a bonus, or like one of those a couple of those endless games.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. And you know, the fact that this is a Switch 1 game, I hope it runs well on there, and a lot of people just pick it up if they're still feeling like I'm not ready for a Switch 2. This is an ideal end of life game for a console like that. And I know a lot of times people don't pick up games in that window, but this one's going to work on your Switch 2 if you eventually get that. So please buy Rhythm Heaven is what I'm saying, because I love that franchise and just want it to come back over and over and over again. Please. All right, let's see here. Leaker says new Luigi's Mansion game could currently or is currently in development alongside accompanying amiibo. This is from My Nintendo News. This rumor comes from Special Nick, who I'll point out has been very good on Nintendo rumors right now, although My Nintendo News says, who it must be said isn't the most reliable leaker of the current bunch, has said that Nintendo is currently working hard at developing a new entry in the beloved Luigi's Mansion series for the Switch 2. He also went on to say that Nintendo is planning a new Luigi's Mansion amiibo to accompany the unannounced game's release. He earlier said that Nintendo is pitching a Luigi's Mansion animated movie, though he didn't elaborate any more on that. Look, I think that, so that's Next Level, right? Who does the Luigi's Mansion games? Their last game was the soccer game Strikers. Before that, they did Luigi's Mansion 3, which was a huge success. So coming out of that, we were all going, obviously they're going to make another Luigi's Mansion game eventually. But Nintendo, for a series like that, likes to do one per console. I think that the timing works out that they would be looking at Next Level and saying, hey, let's get a Luigi's Mansion game ready for the early parts of the Switch 2. I think that this is one of those games that could still launch this year, John. If not, definitely by next year. What do you think?
Yeah, I honestly think we're probably more likely to see a Luigi's Mansion before the 3D Mario, personally.
Yes.
I think this is a no-brainer. it still kind of surprises me how well Luigi's Mansion 3 did. Like it really did elevate it from like I always loved the original Luigi's Mansion, but it that 3 brought it to like the mainstream. Like that is an A tier franchise for them now, to the point where like they're referencing it in the Mario movie all the time. Like the current theme park rumors are there might be a Luigi's Mansion attraction at Universal Florida or whatever. Luigi's Mansion is getting a good push. I think of
Yes.
all franchises, this is a really good, fun one because it has some of the best animation and you can do
Yes.
so much with just a haunted mansion kind of vibe. It's wonderful. It's so delightful. What do you think that amiibo would be? Because I would love a like squishy Gooigi
Yeah,
amiibo. I would
right. Does Luigi
100% buy
return?
that. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we got, yeah. That's the question. Did
Yeah,
he
that's what
die?
everyone's asking. Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know if he died. Yeah, if it's like he always felt like one of those side characters. It's like he showed up in that game. I don't know if he's like part of the gang now, but I hope he is. I definitely want
Yeah.
that. Luigi's Mansion amiibo. Has there been any Luigi's Mansion amiibo so far? There was. He was like, okay, he was scared, and that was for Luigi's Mansion. Is that way back for Luigi's Mansion 2? Okay, this is in Japan, Luigi's Mansion 2 for the 3DS. That okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's so they've done a little bit of that before, and that was just Luigi sort of doing his animated "I'm scared" face, where he's holding his face like Macaulay Culkin. I think they'll give him one where he's got the what's the vacuum called? The Buster Bust Loose, the Poltergust. Yes, thank you. Yeah, they'll probably give him that and charge a little bit extra because that seems to be their strategy these days.
Sure.
Yeah, I like Luigi's Mansion a lot. I do think that it's the kind of thing where they can really amp things up because Luigi's Mansion 3 did so well that you can kind of let Next Level say, hey, you can spend a little bit more money, take a little bit more time, really, exercise your strengths on animation and make those the best we've ever seen, and then maybe do a little bit of extra stuff because they have to be expecting that this game is going to sell very well. That last one, 15+ million copies sold or something like that.
That's absurd.
And that's the reason they don't do these follow-up sequels very soon afterward, because they could just let Luigi's Mansion 3 continue to sell throughout the entire Switch life cycle. And now they're setting up this game to do that again for the Switch 2. So yeah, I think we probably hear about this game in a direct, like the next big direct, and then they talk about the amiibo then, and then the game is out for Halloween. And again, that I don't know that, but it's like that would be my hope and expectation at this point. And I think that would set up Nintendo for a really strong first year if we're talking about Star Fox, and then the Zelda Ocarina of Time remake, and then we get Luigi's Mansion 4, and then hopefully a couple. Rhythm Heaven and Tomodachi Life on top of that. Switch 1 games. That's a pretty good year, right?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I remember us talking like earlier this year, like there's not really a lot on the radar. Like we had like Splatoon and Fire Emblem, and now it's just like, oh, and now all the games are coming. Like it's gonna,
Oh yeah, I forgot
it's
about
looking like
Fire
they
Emblem,
actually
yeah.
do have a really, really big year. And Duskblood's like, it's
Yeah.
kind of nuts how much of a Nintendo year this is turning from the turnaround of the launching of the Switch 2. Yeah. Nintendo just plays their cards right. We always talk about like them stockpiling games and like having games set aside, but yeah, when they have a cadence, they hit it hard. It's nuts.
Yeah. I mean, and it does feel like that. Just, I mean, like a news day like this, where it's like one Nintendo story after another, and some of them are directly from Nintendo, like the stuff from the Nintendo Today app where they're talking about Rhythm Heaven Groove, and some of it's from leakers, but there's stuff worth leaking, so that's why that happens. And then we have like pricing information, which is not exciting, but I also maybe what we should be expecting. Amazon lists Elden Ring Tarnished Edition for $80. Also, it's a game key card, so that's really going to be annoying to some people. This is from My Nintendo News. It would seem as though the release date for Elden Ring Tarnished Edition on the Switch 2 is drawing closer, as Amazon has produced a listing for the game. The action-packed title is listed for $80 and will be a game key card. The higher price is because it features the base game and Shadow of the Erdtree expansion. We still don't have a firm release date for the game, but all should be revealed soon. So my understanding is it's the same price as if you bought Elden Ring and Shadow of the Erdtree on other platforms. The one difference being you can buy Elden Ring without Shadow of the Erdtree on other platforms, so you don't have to spend $80 out of the gate if you don't want to, if you want to see if you like the game. That's frustrating. Obviously, the bigger frustration for a lot of people is going to be $80 for a game key card. Going to be a non-starter for a lot of people, I think. I'm not too surprised by that, but it's like, I bet they could have fit that game on a 64 gigabyte thing, but maybe not with Shadow of the Erdtree. Maybe not, actually. $80 for this Elden Ring on Switch 2. Sounds like they got performance all fixed up. How are you feeling about this?
Yeah, I mean, it's a game that like kind of is a natural fit for the Switch 2. It does really feel like it was kind of coming out of that Breath of the Wild kind of spirit. So being able to take that game on the go will be, and currently is, like a really good way to play that game. Like I think 90% of my playtime was just on Steam Deck, just playing through that
Same.
game, like switching between that and my computer. It was just like gorgeous, ran well, 40 frames. Yeah, it hits a little hollow when it is a game key card. Like I know the fact that Cyberpunk was able to get that and the Night City expansion or the Edge Runners.
Liberty. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called either. I know what you mean.
Yeah,
though. The Idris Elba expansion. Yeah,
exactly. Yes, the Elder Cut. The
Phantom Liberty.
Eldra.
Yes, I knew Liberty was in there somewhere.
Liberty City.
Liberty City stories. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of just like a crazy, like, yeah, no, it's just all here. It's all working. Some of it to lesser degrees. I don't know how Shadow of the Erdtree would actually perform here. I think it ran a little bit easier for me. I don't remember. It's been forever, but
they made some
man,
for sure. Yeah.
$80 is a little whack when I mean my other comparison of being like, well, the Final Fantasy VII remake games are both launching for like $50, including Rebirth, which is like that's now the new main price. So this game coming out around the same time as that is just like $80 is a lot. I didn't even think when this game was announced that the Tarnished, you wouldn't be able to buy the base game apart from the Tarnished Edition. That's something I wasn't even considering because I just assumed it was like, oh, I could buy it with the expansion pack. But for people who just want the base game, haven't played it, yeah, that's kind of BS. That's dumb.
Man, okay, so wait, yeah, someone's point like on Steam right now, Elden Ring. Okay, yes, okay, here we go. Now we got it. Okay, I got it figured out. So Elden Ring is $60. Then if you want the Shadow of the Erdtree expansion, that's $40 separately. Now, you can get Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree Deluxe Edition, and that, or no, I'm sorry, not Deluxe Edition, just the standard Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree Edition. That is also $80. So the DLC is $40 on its own, but you can get this for $80 on Steam. So
yeah,
this lines up with the pricing on other platforms, and you know, we also know what's happening here, right, John? Where it's like Nintendo does the thing where they work with these external partners to be like, give us a special edition on the Switch one, so it feels a little special, so it can be a higher price. And they're definitely doing that here as well. But it also just lines up with the price elsewhere. And the game's older, but that just doesn't matter that much anymore for a game like Elden Ring, right? It'll get discounts when they, From games do get discounts, so that'll happen. It's not like a Nintendo game, but I'm not too surprised by any of this, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, Sekiro is like 7 years old, and like that's a game I really need to get around to getting. But like, yeah, the lowest it drops is 30. Like, FromSoft does really have that premium package for them, and I think a lot of people are willing to pay those prices. So it makes sense why they can do this on top of just the usual Nintendo, regurgitation kind of technique of like, this game was on a lot of other platforms, but it's not been here, so let's just charge full price for it. It's frustrating.
Yep. And as people point out, the box says Game Key Guard Edition in giant letters with a giant ugly box on it. It's so ugly. Have I told that story? I think I've told the story, but I'll tell it again about how at Walmart they have the little cardboard flap that says Nintendo to make the branding look all cool. That flap covers up the Game Key Guard warning on every single box. So you only see the pretty art.
Oh.
I was like, I think this might be deliberate. I went over and looked at like PlayStation. They do the same thing, and for PlayStation, which doesn't have those warnings in the same place at least. So it's like, man, that they should fix that actually though, because that's a lot of games on shelves, and a lot of those shelves are behind glass. So it's like
Yeah.
you can't like pick it up and look at it. You have to go get someone's help, and by then, often it's too late. You're like, kind of railroaded into buying the thing. So ugly box, but not if you're at Walmart. You can't see the ugliness, so they hide it pretty well. All right,
So
let's wrap up
yeah.
this last story. Star Fox for Switch 2 could be announced very soon. This is from Blair Marnell at GameSpot.
Oh, yeah.
Late last month, a report emerged that Nintendo is developing a new Star Fox game for Switch 2. Now, game leaker Nate the Hate is reporting that the official announcement may come as soon as this month. And this is what we were speculating, I think, yesterday, or maybe on the Bombcast, that we can probably, like, by the end of this month, this thing could get announced. Because the expectation is the game could launch in June or July, and there's supposed to be a direct. The next direct we've heard is going to be in June. So if that's the case, it's like, okay, they could shadow drop it. They could announce it, release it a month later. Seems, though, like they're going to announce it here right in the wake of the movie, where Star Fox was a big part of the action there, and carry that momentum right into the announcement, and then carry that announcement momentum right into releasing the game. If they do that, like, do you think it's another one of these Nintendo Today Twitter announcements that they just did for Rhythm Heaven Groove, or do they do a little bit more?
That's kind of what it seems like. It's very weird that we are getting kind of these Twitter directs, so to speak. Like, I do remember Splatoon Raiders just out of nowhere was announced kind of like this, but that was also bundled with another like Splatoon story or something. I think it was like the Switch 2 version. It's weird. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's deserving of fanfare. Like, I think it deserves to just like, maybe they announce it on Nintendo Today and then announce a separate like sole game direct if that is going to be the game of the summer. Yeah, it deserves. I mean, like, we haven't seen a new Star Fox game in like 10 years, unless you're counting like Starlink or whatever. Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm excited for whatever Star Fox brings, but yeah, it's like, I feel like it is one of Miyamoto's babies, so maybe it'll be kind of elevated in a new light, and especially when it's like, yeah, he was just headlining a new movie more like in it more than a lot of other Mario characters. One thing, one thing I'm curious is like, what's your temperature on like what this game will be? Like, what size do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be a full like $80-$70 game like it's going to have on foot in the R-Wing cockpit missions? Or do you think it will strictly be like, we're keeping it bare basics, Star Fox 64, maybe we'll have a Landmaster mission or two?
Yeah, so I think so. They're going to want to charge $70 or $80 for this, right? So they're going to have to make it feel like a big game. That, you know, how often has that like really shown up in Nintendo's games recently? We can often be like, wow, how are they charging this much for that game? But whatever, they're going to want to make it feel like a big full game. And then, you know, the rumor is it's going back to classic gameplay. So with those two things in mind, I think that it's going to be mostly R-Wing gameplay, and then a lot of bonus alternative levels that have a lot of gimmicks, that have a lot of the submarine, a lot of the Landmaster. Yes, and then probably some new stuff. Maybe like one or two on-foot missions that are really like well hidden, so they feel like extreme bonuses. And yeah, I think that they will do that. They do it that way, and then I would, like, if I were in their shoes, I don't think this is going to happen, but if I were in their shoes, I would make sure that like the real main mode, like I would have a story campaign, but then I would like focus most of my efforts on a roguelite mode. I would turn Star Fox into a full roguelite with upgrades and bonuses and builds and the different paths you take. It's already just right there waiting for this game to take advantage of that. Crap. I think that would be great.
Yeah, I never even considered a roguelite mode, but yeah, like, I mean, that's what I'm kind of hoping for. You were kind of speaking all the things that I want to hear, so it's like, it's hard for me not to just smile at hearing that. Like, I feel like Star Fox has been done so dirty, and
then just get the visuals, right? I think if they just make it look stunning, which is apparently also that's the reporting as well, is it looks really nice. If they do that, I mean, that goes a long way. I think we just want Star Fox to look cool, especially coming out of that movie where he was very cool.
He was very cool. Yeah, even him just like kind of putting his laser blaster in his like side. That was dope. They were trying to make him a Han Solo character, which I was like, that's a little weird. But like, man, yeah, it would just make me so happy for this game to be really big, to be the continuation that we've wanted since 64, but into a lesser extent, like Assault. Like, I do have a soft spot for Assault for like the 5 R-Wing missions that are in there, but I mean, we're like a decade plus removed from then. I feel like they could make a land mission or two fun if they make, the kit that Fox has more fun to control.
Yep. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I think we're all like huffing the hopium on this one. Like, I don't see a lot of people in chat going, this isn't real. This isn't going to happen. We're all like, no, this is happening. We all believe it. And we're all getting pretty excited.
Yeah.
So hopefully it delivers. I would love Star Fox to just be back. That would be fantastic. And then I would love for that to lead into a movie of his own and all that stuff. It could be really fun. All right. That does it for the headlines, everybody. Let's start wrapping up the show. We have the poll question from yesterday because today is Thursday, so we did a show on Wednesday. Are you more likely to support an indie game if it has a physical release? Yes. Nah, I'll go digital. I'll double dip. Those are your options. I will say yes, actually. Oh, no. Yes, I actually am more excited because it's like, man, it just feels more real to me. 26% said yes, 63% just said, nah, I'll go digital, and 10% said I'll double dip. That 10% double dipping, John, that's the collector market, right? Where these are people who really play games when the game comes out digitally, and then when it gets a physical release a year later, they'll double dip because they want to have the physical version of it. And that's that whole business model of people who are super into that stuff and giving them an opportunity to spend even more money on this thing they've already played and experienced. And they're kind of holding up that whole side of the bargain, which I'm okay with. I'm fine with that. That's great. Yeah. All right. We have a new poll question. We'll get to it here in a second. Before we do that, Jon Martin, why don't you tell people where they could find you on the internet, what you have going on, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Blue Sky at johnmartin.bluesky.social or what have you. Jon Martin, I'll be there. Yeah, in terms of projects, been working on a big Pokemon retrospective for like 3 months at this point.
Oh, cool.
Starting to pivot into being like smaller stuff to supplement that. So I have a couple One Piece videos coming out. I have a couple Star Fox wants and desires videos kind of coming out. And then, tonight I might be streaming some Marvel Rivals. And then tomorrow I am 100% streaming some Mario Kart 8 with some friends. So that'll be fun.
Oh, fun. Fantastic. Yeah. That's, I'm going to be setting stuff up for that endurance run, like I said. So I might be streaming tomorrow night as well, everybody, just to test my setup to make sure the audio's good. I think it's going to be. I think we're all good. Fantastic. Yes, I have my fidget gun. This is my fidget gun, everybody. When I just need to fidget with something, I just get out the send-in light gun, and it's got I could cock it and pull the trigger, and it's not connected right now, so I'm not going to break the computer. All right. The new poll question that we will answer on tomorrow's show. Have you played Rhythm Heaven before? Yes or no? Really kind of interested to see what this audience's response will be to this, because I know there's been some Rhythm Heaven love on Giant Bomb for a very long time. So I bet this audience is wise to how good that game is. But we'll get the results. We'll talk about it on Game Mess Morning here on Giant Bomb tomorrow. Once again, speaking of Giant Bomb, what do we have going on? It's Thursday, so Voicemail Dump Truck is happening. But before that, we're going to talk over the Triple I initiative, like the talk over thing there. We'll get set up here right away. And then, tomorrow's UPF. We'll have some other fun stuff on the website as we're going. I think we'll have something dropping on Saturday as well. So keep your eye on the feeds. And with all that said, Jon Martin, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Guys, get some Rhythm Heaven game on the Bomb 12 next week. I need to see that to happen. I need some happiness.
See what you can do, everybody. See what you can do. Can't just be one of you spamming it. You guys gotta work together. All right. There's the Bomb 12 vote. We'll do the Bomb 12 tomorrow to wrap up the week. With all that said, once again, thank you, Jon. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. We really appreciate you. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye. Blap, 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 blap.